Every time I like, even for a moment, think that my writing is not that bad, I'm like, hang on, I'm getting delusional. Okay, so I was actually going to take a break from vlogging because I don't know if you could tell in my last vlog, I don't think I was very, like I was just like kind of not in a good writing headspace where I was a little bit burnt out. That's why I skipped a couple weeks of uploading, but now that I've kind of taken a little bit of a break, just sort of felt like vlogging today. Like I didn't really plan it. I'm not gonna set any goals. I'm just going to document like whatever I feel like writing in the moment. Right now I am working on some short fiction and I'm probably gonna be focusing on that for the rest of the day. I'm not taking a break from book revisions. If you've been following the last several vlogs, my main project right now is an adult fantasy, and I will probably still be working on that throughout this video, but I think I just need to chill a little bit. I was getting so wrapped up in getting my revisions perfect, and I started thinking about publishing and about querying. Instead, I am just going to literally write for fun. That's it. I'm trying to have fun out here. I haven't done that in a while. Usually whenever I'm writing for fun, I'm not vlogging it. So some of the stuff that I'm probably going to be working on over the course of this vlog is probably going to be some short fiction. I really don't have any publication plans for any of the stuff that I'm working on, and honestly it just feels good. Today I am actually working on kind of a cyberpunk short story. So excited to write it. I think honestly it's just really nice to take a break from fantasy. Like I have been writing so much fantasy. I just kind of need a bit of a breather from the genre. Going back to some cyberpunk is going to really kind of help me just experiment and have fun again. I think it's gonna be a little bit of a return to form for me, and I'm really excited by it. I'm also doing something new with this project where I actually decided to title it before writing it, which is something that I never do. I usually always title earliest in the middle of the first draft or at the end of the first draft. Today I'm just gonna be like trying something new. It's called Sway With Me Until We Bleed. What's interesting about titling really early on in the writing process is that the story is kind of gonna be informed by the title rather than the other way around, and it's very different from how I usually write, but we're just trying so many new things today. I'm gonna see how it turns out and I will keep you guys updated. Cute. It's been a few days. To update you on the short story that I was talking about at the start of this vlog, I originally thought that I was just gonna go into the short story like with no plan and just like jump in and write it, but as I was like thinking about it, realized that I kind of wanted to make like a flow of scenes. It's not like a full outline. I haven't started writing it yet, but I'm feeling pretty good about the central idea and how, like, what I want the core like themes of the short story to be. I think once I get into actually writing it, I'll probably have like a better idea for like the voice of the main character. I think I will be writing it in third person. That's kind of where I'm comfortable at the moment, but if I feel like changing it later, then I will. So yeah, that's the update on the short story. It is ready to write. And then a quick update on Project Night, which I said that I wouldn't be focusing on revisions for that book too much in this vlog, but I was kind of feeling better about it yesterday. Basically, okay, I didn't take a break between finishing the draft and revising the draft, and I think that was kind of a mistake. So I allowed myself like a week away from the manuscript. And to be honest, when I went back into the manuscript yesterday, the chapter that I was working on that I was really struggling with, when I went back to kind of reread it, it actually wasn't as bad as I thought it was, so I'm feeling better about it. It's kind of like, I was just like in a mood last week. A few days ago, actually, I kind of got like an idea for some aspect of Anna's character. In the last vlog, you could probably see that I was struggling a lot with like character description. I was trying to revise the scenes where essentially characters are meeting for the first time, and you know, you kind of have to like describe the characters. A piece of writing advice I remember picking up from somewhere. I don't remember where I heard this. Maybe it was a YouTube video, maybe it was like a writer on Twitter, I can't remember. Oftentimes what makes characters most interesting isn't necessarily just their positive attributes, but also their imperfections. I kind of got this idea for an aspect of Anna's physical appearance in some way. I can add into the story and sort of use it as a window into her backstory a little bit. I was kind of like trying to take inventory of all the scenes that this would affect, but there's really no way to like fully know that until I'm like actually going through every single scene. So I'm not gonna worry too much about it right now. I think for today, I'm trying to decide if I want to work on Project Night or if I want to work on the short story. I don't know. A part of me is like back in the mood to revise. I also went to the bookstore yesterday. Periodically, I like to just walk up and down the aisles and like see what's new and fun and fresh. And you know what? After I went to the bookstore, I like was reading a bunch of like what's going on in sci-fi fantasy these days, and then when I went back to like reread certain chapters of Project Night, I was like, you know what, this is not that bad. I don't know, every time I like even for a moment think that my writing is not that bad, I'm like, hang on, I'm getting delusional. Also, I have decided that I'm just gonna call Project Night by its working title going forward in these videos, because there are so many times when I'm filming where I mix up Project Night and Project Moon, and I have to like repeat my sentence, and it's like, it's happened too many times. Technically, Project Night has had a working title for a few months now. The book is currently called Nightward, and that's just gonna be easier for me to say. That's what I'm gonna call it going forward. I think once I get to the end of revisions, or as I'm revising, I will consider coming up with a new title. Right now, that's what I've been calling it, and that's kind of the identity of the book at the moment. Okay, so a little bit of an update. Just been working on the first chapter of part 2 for the last little while, and I think I've worked out most of the kinks. I do think so far it's like a pretty weak chapter, so there's still a lot that I want to like work through and fix. I'm feeling okay about it, but I'm just gonna move on for now, and I'm gonna come back to it later. I actually really like the first few chapters of part 2. There aren't too many scenes where like pretty much all the main characters are together and in the scene. So yeah, there's only a few chapters where Anna, Felix, and some of the core side characters are all like hanging out. Chapter 8, 9, and 10 all happen in the same night, and it's a pretty fun and games part of the story, so I kind of just want to work through it and brush it up. I think after work, I'm going to work on my short story again. It's not often that I actually like project hop in the same day. Like I usually like to focus on only one story in a day, but I don't know, I'm just feeling very scatterbrained today. So over the past few days, I've basically been revising the second chapter of part 2. I am mostly done with it. There aren't too many structural changes that I'm going to make to these 2 chapters. Again, I kind of like them as they are. So it's just gonna be some details here and there, and then some line editing. I think that's gonna be the bulk of it. I did make some progress as well on the short story. I've kind of laid out the general foundation of the first scene. I mean, I like it so far. The vibes are fun, I guess. Also, I have decided that I am gonna send off at least 2 chapters of part 1, the first 2 chapters of part 1, to get beta read. No one has ever read any part of this manuscript yet, and I am just really curious about the reaction that I'm gonna get, because like, yeah, I don't know. I think I'm just gonna send the first 2 chapters to my friend Emily for now, because she's read a lot of my writing and I'm curious about what her opinion of this story is going to be. I don't know if she's going to see it as, because I personally see Nightbird as an improvement on my writing. You know, I'm curious to see if she's gonna see that too, or if it's just gonna be the same like cut and dry stuff to her. So I'll probably also spend the weekend brushing it up, final pass through, make sure it's in a place where I'm content with right now. I'm not too worried about it being perfect, because, you know, it's just a beta read. Emily has read a lot worse for me. So yeah, I'm just gonna like send her the first 2 chapters because I am really curious what her impressions of Anna and Felix are gonna be. I actually, the more that I think about it though, the more that I want to send her the first 5 chapters. The way that part 1 is structured right now is it's 4 chapters. So Anna, Felix, and an interlude chapter in the perspective of Alex. It's a shorter chapter. Well, is it shorter? It's a slightly shorter chapter. After the interlude, there's another 3 chapters. I mean, I could send her all of Act 1, but no, I think it's, What I'm gonna do is I'm going to finish revising chapter 8 and 9. Then I'm going to do another pass through of chapters 1 and 2. Depending on how I feel, I might also send off chapter 3, 4, and the interlude if I feel like it. That's how I'm feeling right now. That's where we're at the moment. Also, I finally finished reading Never Have I Ever by Isabel Yap. This is a collection of short stories, probably one of my favorite reads, like definitely of the year, but just like in general, this was so unlike anything I have read, at least in the last little while, especially the first story in this short story collection. It's like the kind of story that I feel like I have tried to write in the past 2 to 3 years, but couldn't execute at this level. I think it also, from a writer perspective, it kind of made me feel even more motivated to keep writing my own stories. I actually, oh yeah, she has one short story in here, How to Swallow the Moon. This is inspired by the tale of Bakunawa. It's like this sea god or sea monster. There's like different depictions of him, but I actually have read this story already, and this is part of the reason why, because I think this was originally published in a literary magazine, so I remember reading it online somewhere, and it was after seeing this story while I was researching for Project Moon, because basically Project Moon also pulls from the lore of Bakunawa as well, and after I was like doing research into that lore, I came across this short story, and then I decided to pick up her short story collection. There's actually a review at the back of this book. Yeah, this is from Alyssa Wong, author of Dr. Afra. They remind me of being in my Lola's house in Manila, listening to my titas and titos gossip over the breakfast table. Yap's stories feel like coming home. That is my long-winded way of saying I loved that book, and you guys should definitely check it out. Okay, today's Monday and I had a pretty busy-ish weekend. I basically couldn't work on my short story, which I like said was gonna be the whole point of this vlog, but it's just, I am human, I am mortal, I couldn't get to it. The reason that I kind of decided to deprioritize it a little bit over the weekend was because I have completely decided that I want to get Act 1 beta read, and when I was talking to Emily, she basically said that she had time to read it over the next few weeks. So I'm gonna send her pretty much all of it. I was gonna send her just half the act, but then I kind of decided, you know what, if she has time, she can just read all 19,000 words of it.
And finely crafted, dark oak chairs, intricate woodwork adorned the handles along the walls. From the ceiling hung hundreds of mirror chandeliers, its glass clear and pristine, carving dull light and patterned shadows on the dance floor below. At the opposite end were over fragments of broken plates and record glasses. She was waiting for me. The band was still there, huddled in the alcove, in one piece that clung to the wide curve of her hips and stopped the piano. The remaining musicians sat slumped.
We're about to send Emily the first 18,000 words. I'm gonna do it right now. I'm like so nervous for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know why I'm so nervous. I feel like I'm more nervous about this than I have been for other projects. Okay. I was like getting in some last minute edits this morning. I don't think that there's anything else I can do at this point. Like at some point you really just have to like let go. Yeah, okay. We just have to let it rip. So usually actually how I send things for feedback, I'll just show you guys, hang on. So basically like at the top, I have like a feedback direction section where I ask for what kind of feedback I'm looking for. And then at the end of the document, I included specific questions that I want her to answer. So I split them up into structure, character, and then world/magic system. So usually a lot of what I'm looking for in terms of direction for an initial read isn't so much like anything super specific about like the writing or anything, because obviously I know the writing is still pretty bad. Mostly what I'm curious about at this stage is pacing. That's a huge one, like how smoothly the story feels like it's moving, and if there are sections that drag or sections that don't really make sense. And then from a character perspective, want to know if the main character's motivations are clear, if they have a sense of like personality to them. And then on like a world building level, I ask specific questions about exposition, basically. Setting and the culture makes sense. Is it clear, you know, what the power structures in the world are and kind of how the main characters fit into those structures. So yeah, I added the questions in at the end of the act because I kind of just want her to read it as if, you know, she doesn't know anything about it. I'm not asking her to like specifically look out for any specific thing as she's reading, but I don't know, she might do it anyway. Okay, I'm like totally stalling right now, so I'm just gonna send it to her. Emily has also read, she's read a lot of my stuff in the last like 2 years. She's read a bit of Project Moon. She's also read a bit of the cyberpunk adult sci-fi that I wrote in 2020. Okay, we're doing it. Oh my god, I'm gonna throw up. I'm literally gonna throw up. Okay, it's sent. It is sent. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, it's there. It's with her. I'm gonna text her. Okay, hello. I actually didn't get any writing done after I sent off the manuscript to Emily. I didn't anticipate, honestly, how much it would like tire me out to send that off for a beta read. I think it hit me how much I really cared about whether or not someone else would find this story good. Because I feel like when I've sent like other parts of my books for people to read, I usually like am already at a point where like I can accept even harsh feedback. I'm not there yet with Nightward. I feel like with this book, I'm still very sensitive. But you know what? I was like reading the second act of the first draft because that's what I have to work on next. I was kind of like surprised at how much better it was than I thought. I was like that surprised at how much I got into the story. I had like a brief couple pages where I kind of like literally disassociated because I forgot that it was my book. There was like a couple pages where I was like, did I write this? Because like, why am I kind of into it? Which is very strange. I think I kind of want to go back to my short story. I still have a little bit of time on my lunch break, so I think I'm gonna do that for like 20 minutes. I have a really long work meeting. I might be really tired after, so I don't know if I'm gonna feel like writing, so I'm gonna try to do some of it right now. I'm gonna try to be productive, you know? Emily's also currently reading the manuscript, so I get like Google Doc notifications. I'm not opening them. I'm like scared. I'm terrified. I think I'm gonna do the same thing that I did in my other video. I basically read the feedback, my first impressions of the feedback. I read it on camera. That's what I did for my last book when I sent it to my other friend. So I think I'm gonna do that with Emily's as well. I'm not gonna read it in advance, and I'll like make a separate video where I like react to the feedback. No, I was trying to think yesterday about why, like what I was so nervous to get feedback about for Nightward, because at this point in my writing journey, I've like fully accepted that my first drafts are gonna be like kind of bad and stuff. I feel like it's not necessarily developmental edits that I'm scared of having to do, because I've already like kind of mentally prepared myself for that, but it's more like I'm mostly scared about character feedback. If Emily comes back to me, or any beta reader comes back to me and is like confused about character motivations, or if the personalities of the characters don't come across in the way that I wanted them to, I think that's what's going to scare me the most. If it turns out that I messed up in trying to write them, putting in all this effort to like iron them out, I think that's what's gonna make me the most sad. And I was like genuinely so shocked yesterday at how much I really did enjoy rereading chapters, what is this, 8 to 14-ish, 8 to 15. Anyways, oh my god, I literally said I was gonna take a break from the manuscript. Oh my god, what is wrong with me? Okay, I'm closing the document. I'm closing the document. Yesterday, I tried making a little bit more progress in my short story. I thought that I might be able to make it through like the first scene of the story, but to be honest, it's been tougher than I thought it was gonna be. I think I have to like let go a little bit of my inclination to like outline, because I feel like that's what's kind of scaring me about the whole process right now. I don't want to get into that mindset with this story. I really want to try just like free falling a little bit. The other thing is that I kind of just like got back into revision for Nightward, which I just wasn't expecting. Like I really was not expecting to be in revision mode at all for this vlog. I have a bunch of like fantasy books that have been sitting on my shelf for a really long time, and I haven't finished them yet. I've started them, but I haven't finished them, and they're all pretty chunky. These two are adult fantasy, high fantasy, I think, and then Realmbreaker is YA. I kind of want to like read these, of course for leisure, but also I think just for studying the genre a little bit more. I try not to read with a kind of like writer analytical mode turned on all the time, because sometimes it can like detract a little from like my enjoyment of a story. Like sometimes I just like to read a story just to read it, but I am gonna try to like actually read these and sort of from a publishing standpoint, I guess. I do think that it is beneficial every once in a while as like a fantasy writer to like read other fantasy books as regularly as possible. So I've been putting these off for way too long. And there's also some library books that I have to read. Oh yes, Atlas 6. Okay, so this, I was about to buy it, but my library hold just came through, so I'm just gonna borrow it. Here she is. I hear that TikTok really likes this book. I think that's why I heard about it. Yeah, I did kind of like skim a little bit of the prose. It has a bit of an odd prologue. By odd, I mean I don't see this in a lot of books because I don't know if every book can get away with it. It has a very like pulled up scope kind of feel to it, almost like thematic in nature. That's not something that every book is allowed to do, I feel like. So far I like the writing, so I'm gonna read that as well. To update you guys on how the revision has gone, am slowly making my way through chapters 8, 9, and 10. Some like exposition that I have to also tinker with in these chapters, but I'm excited to edit them. I do genuinely like this part of the book. I think the first major plot twist happens. I don't know, I would hesitate to call it a plot twist. It's more like the first major thing that surprises the characters and kind of like changes what they think they know about the situation they're in. Okay, so yesterday I was literally going to end the vlog, like I filmed an outro and everything, but then later that night I did a little bit of writing, and as I was just like sitting at my desk and brainstorming and everything, I actually got an idea for a new book, which is very strange. And now I'm kind of like reshifting my priorities because intrigued by the idea, like I kind of want to brainstorm the idea a little bit. I'm kind of trying to tinker with the idea of maybe juggling multiple projects at a time, because usually I'm only writing like one book at a time, but now there's just so many book ideas that I want to start writing, because I think I do this thing where I try to like give myself a very strict schedule and structure. I don't like to write impulsively. I've been thinking about it recently and I don't know if that's a good thing. I feel like there's something about writing that maybe you really should follow your impulses sometime. I don't know. I also think like maybe learning to juggle a bunch of projects at a time, like large scale projects at a time, is a writing skill in and of itself. But the other thing about this idea that kind of is daunting to me, it's kind of gonna be like in my mind right now with just like this sprouting of idea that I have. I'm envisioning something that is urban fantasy near future kind of vibe, very different. Like I have never written an urban fantasy ever. I don't know like why. I really don't know why this idea came into my head. I think I'm just intrigued at the prospect of writing something that isn't a secondary world. I know I won't start writing it for a while because obviously I want to collect more ideas that I feel like could complement the main idea. I was just shocked. Man, I feel like new book ideas like enter my brain at the worst times, like literally the worst times. But anyways, yeah, I just wanted to like add that into this vlog. I promised myself that after I finished the first round of Nightword revisions that I would move on to Project Aerith, which I've been brainstorming on and off for a couple months now. This idea is really, she's grabbed me by the throat. I'm gonna end the vlog here. Thank you guys as always for watching this video. I hope all of your writing projects are going well, and I will see you guys in the next one.